this is triggering the end of physical video games, and I never thought it would be Nintendo of all the companies that would end up doing this.
Nintendo just made a move that could help kill physical games forever. And we're gonna play some murder mystery on the Hive while we talk about it.
We were sat down in our local McDonald's having a little bit of a lunch.
While we tried the new Minecraft nugget sauce.
Oh yeah, well, we tried the new Minecraft nugget sauce, which wasn't really that good, honestly. It was kind of spicy, but didn't taste really good.
It was kind of a
So
letdown, just like the milk.
yeah, but oh, but but why, baby?
Uh-huh.
Oh God. But anyway, we were talking, as we tend to from time to time, about the state of the game industry,
Mm-hmm.
and Nintendo came up. Y'all may or may not know this, those of you who watch on the regular, but I am a big video game collector. I love physical video games. I have thousands and thousands of them from all different systems all throughout the years. And I have a lot of Nintendo games because one of my, actually, my very first console was a Super Nintendo. Games like Donkey Kong Country and Mega Man X and Super Mario World. That was my original experience with video games. I've kind of always been a fan of Nintendo just kind of because of that. And they pretty consistently put out pretty high quality products. But they're in a little bit of hot water with the gaming industry and fans right now because of the pricing of not so much the console as the games, because the new Mario Party World, which looks like it could be a fantastic, fun to play game,
Mm-hmm.
the physical version is $90.
90, not 69, but 90 dang dollars.
As opposed to the last generation of games, which were 60 on the high end usually. I think Tears of the Kingdom might have been 70, but generally 60. So that is a third of the price of the game of an increase. That's a $30 increase on something that used to be $60. So they are taking a lot of heat over that, and people are, kind of demanding that they lower the price, and they're acting like due to recent trade issues between different countries that it might even end up being higher, but that's not necessarily what I wanted to talk about, although it's tied into it. What I want to talk about is the fact that they are incentivizing people to buy digital games. It's something that I did not expect Nintendo to do. And so the title of this video will probably be something like "Physical Games Are Dead," and Nintendo killed them, which is not anything I expected. Now, for people who are plugged into the video game world, you might have heard rumblings that GTA 6, which is coming up pretty soon, probably in the next year or so, executives at Rockstar and 2K are kicking around pricing it at $100 or even higher. So everybody knew this was kind of coming, and big releases like, say, Elder Scrolls 6 and the few games that are highly anticipated over the next little bit. We've all known this was coming, but I don't think anybody really expected Nintendo to be the first ones to try it, because generally they have been sort of a niche side market of video games, at least in the last, I don't know, say 10 years or so. The Switch and Wii U's lifetime, basically, they've kind of just done their own little silly thing and curated their audience. And people like me, who are older, I am an old man after all, are more closely tied to Nintendo, even though a lot of their games are more kid themed, right? But that's because we came up with those games and those franchises and IPs and stuff like that. And I would say your average adult Nintendo fan is way more likely to be a collector of physical media than, say, a Microsoft or Sony fan, or just your average gamer even. So nobody that I've ever heard talk, myself included, really expected Nintendo to be the ones leading the charge. And the core of the issue is, while the Mario Kart game will be $90 for the physical version, oh, the killer's back here or something. The digital version, I think, is going to be $69, and then if you buy the digital version bundled with the console, it's only $50. So this is Nintendo incentivizing people to buy the digital version of the game, which is something that's not really done. I mean, generally games now, it's $59.99 or $69.99 to buy the physical edition, and if you go to Steam or whatever, it's the same price.
Right.
Which I've always thought that the digital version should be a little cheaper, even if it's just a small percent cheaper. But what they're doing instead is they're keeping the price of the digital game the same, and they're increasing the price of the physical game.
Yeah.
Which that is rough for people like me who enjoy collecting physical games. Like I said, not to repeat myself, but I just did not see Nintendo being the ones to lead this charge. And we were talking about the pricing and the games and everything, and I am excited for some of the games that they showed, especially like the Donkey Kong 3D game that looks really fun, and Mario Kart looks really fun, and Metroid. I'm sure there'll be plenty of stuff that'll be fun to play. But Zelda came up, and I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan, but those are some of the only games that I will buy day one. Usually, like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, I both bought day one. Usually I wait till games are, somewhere between $20 and $40 used before I'll buy them, just because I don't have a ton of extra pocket change all the time to be buying $60 and $70 video games. But Nintendo games are generally the ones that I'll make an exception for. And as much as I love Zelda, I don't know that I could justify forking over $90.
Yep. Think
for
how much
a
that
single
is, y'all. $90.
Yeah, you have to think of the buying power of $90 for a single person.
Yeah.
That could buy you groceries for a week. Or even more if you buy carefully. Or, that's like a insurance payment, or like a third of a small mortgage payment, like that. $90 for a video game, I don't think is tenable for a lot of people. I think way more people than they expected, even with modern inflation rates all over the Western world. I think they're going to find that a lot of people are going to be so shocked by that price that sales are going to crater.
Yeah.
At least is what I'm scared of for them. And I don't know that they're going to listen to the consumer backlash, because they are getting it at Nintendo recently did one of their Treehouse live streams and demoed some of their games that they announced at the Switch Direct, and the chat was just absolutely spammed with people saying lower the price.
Lower the price, yeah.
And nobody's really acknowledged that. And I know there's arguments to be made that, back in the 90s that there were games that were more expensive, and that the price of games hadn't really changed. And I don't really want to come across as like I'm hating on Nintendo here. I'm a Nintendo fan. But what my point is that Nintendo's actions, kind of like that one dude that got assassinated, the Archduke Ferdinand, who got assassinated, kind of triggered World War II. This, I think, is triggering the end of physical video games. And just to repeat myself again, I never thought it would be Nintendo of all the companies that would end up doing this. But yeah, that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts on it, Corn Joe?
I agree with what Josh said. Charging $90. That's what I'm really hooked on, is $90. Because you gotta think how much you can purchase with $90 and what you can purchase. I grew up playing Nintendo, but then after a certain age, I just kind of outgrew them. And this is nothing on Nintendo. This is just my opinion. I'm just not. Oh! Who is it?
Bro just shot at me.
It's a bedrock looking guy, Josh.
Okay.
Bro, the killer is back there. Go get him.
The sheriff's an idiot, so I wouldn't count on him.
That's what I was just thinking. As someone backed up in a corner and thought, bro, I can tell by looking at you, you ain't gonna do nothing.
I just had a near brush with the. Oh God, he's throwing stars at me. He's back there. I need to loop this guy through to the sheriff. Where are you, sheriff?
The sheriff's back here with me. acting a fool. But what I was saying, I haven't been excited for a Nintendo game and I don't know when. Oop, there's bro. That being said, when I hear there's a new Nintendo console being released, or games for that matter, it's like, oh, well, that's good. But me personally, I'm not excited just because it's not my thing anymore. But I'm mostly bothered by the price and the fact that lots of children are going to want the new games that come out, and not everyone's going to be able to afford $90 for one. Oh god, I just ran right into the murder. And I missed. Dang it.
To be fair to Nintendo, which I think I have been, it's just like what I've said is just basically nothing that hates on them. It's just like playing out the consequences of what they've done, you know. But they have come up with a couple of things with this console that are pretty good ideas, like that you're able to loan out your games to your friends digitally for a couple weeks, and that you can do local online multiplayer without everybody owning the game. Like, that's a cool feature. I like all that, and that's pretty consumer friendly. But another thing to harp on here is that I'm not sure which ones. I should have looked it up so I would be more educated on which ones it was. But some of the games that they're charging these unbelievable amounts of money for aren't on the cartridges. The cartridges are just a license to own the digital game. You stick it in your console and it downloads the digital game. So if you're not online, the cartridge is a useless piece of plastic. So that stinks when you're paying extra to have the luxury of having the physical thing.
That's true.
It's an ornament, you know. It doesn't do anything at that point. So I'm kind of black-pilled and bummed about the whole situation as a physical game collector.
Yay, let's go, Josh, let's go. GG.
Popped bro while I was making my point.
You did pop bro. GG.
And personally, I also, well, let me just start by saying that I think that there will always be some form of physical game collecting, at least as long as video games as we know it are a thing. But it's going to be a much more niche thing, like coming up in the next 10 years. And it'll basically be like collector's editions have been, you know, where like maybe 2 or 3% of the player base will be buying the actual physical cases with discs or cartridges in them. And there are only places like Limited Run Games who do stuff like that. And personally, I'm not a fan of that company for various reasons. That I used to buy a lot from them and I don't anymore. It's just sad, you know. It's like a loss of culture, really. It's still, as silly as that may seem, there's something really nice about going to your local Best Buy or GameStop or whatever and buying a physical disc and tearing the plastic off of it and putting it in your console to play the game.
Most definitely.
You know? And not needing internet to do so. It's just like, it's something, it's when it goes, I'm gonna miss it, you know. The younger people, this is like old man yelling at clouds, you know, but I feel like younger people they're not really going to understand what they didn't get. Most people who are younger than 25 probably don't even really remember video game manuals that well, like stuff that would come in GameCube and PS2 cases that would give you an insight into the enemies and the gameplay and like concept art and stuff like that. That's already something we've lost in favor of just a ornamental little slip that they sometimes stick on the book side of the case. The idea that hello. The idea that the actual game is going to end up going that way. It's been a long time coming. It's just it's sad to see that it's finally here and that Nintendo were the ones who pulled the trigger rather than some corporate overlord. But yeah, I guess that pretty much sums up most of what I have to say about it. This all happened I think it actually stemmed from the Minecraft movie. We were talking about the Minecraft movie and how crappy, which I hadn't seen it yet, but I've seen enough to know I don't want to see it.
Right,
it's
me
so
too.
Cringe and horrible. Jack Black is so cringe in it. I don't even know. so many millions of dollars went into that movie for it to be just such a crap show. But
yeah, that's the case with a lot of things.
yeah, I know. It's not good. We need better artists creating stuff rather than enormous soulless corporations just trying to squeeze money from people in pre-existing fan bases.
Hold up, let Josh cook, because that's straight fire right there. I don't collect physical games, but it's just because I play the same 5 to 10 games mostly. I have my PC, and that's all I need.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't want to bum anybody out. It's something that's been coming a long time, and there's nothing. The only thing you could really do about it is to talk with your wallet. Don't pay the bloated prices. If you want to get the Switch 2 and Mario Kart day one, then go ahead. It's going to be fun. You're going to have a lot of fun with it. But I honestly wouldn't recommend it. I don't think. I just wouldn't recommend it unless it's just something that you really want to do. I think Nintendo is trying to gouge money out of people because they know they have an extremely dedicated fan base who will more than likely pay pretty much whatever they ask for whatever they put out. And it's just kind of the way I see it. It might be a little cynical, but I just don't think I would certainly not pay the $90 for Mario Kart. I would wait until the price comes down just a little bit before I did anything like that.
That's really the only thing that Nintendo puts out that I enjoy anymore, and that's because of the multiplayer factor. Josh, you were the murderer, weren't you?
I sure was. I didn't do very good either.
I saw you beside a gravestone earlier. GG's. But yeah, Mario Kart, maybe Smash, Mario Party, just for the multiplayer. Other than that, I just don't care. And I sure as heck would not spend $90 on Mario Kart. There's just no way. And some people, maybe it's worth it for you because you would just get so much enjoyment out of it that the $90 is worth it. But for me and Josh too, it ain't it.
No, it's just not enough.
Like I said earlier, what bothers me the most out of this situation is the children that see a new Mario game come out. They absolutely love Mario and they really want it. And some of them won't be able to afford it, whether it's children earning their own allowance or their parents paying for it. That's a lot of money, y'all.
And Nintendo is like super popular amongst kids still. It's like the Mario movie is a testament to that. It made a ton of money, and if you just want to, and some of you might even be this person, but if you just put yourself in the shoes of the absolute like normie parent who, they're not keeping up with all this, and for most of their life, if they're a younger parent, and all of their kids' lives, video games have been $60. And so like the kid is going to be saying, I want new Mario Kart. I want new Mario Kart. And the parent will be like, okay, maybe for Christmas or something. And then they're going to go and the console's not that bad. It's like the same price as it's $450 or was going to be $450. So that's like, $50 less than the PlayStation and the Xbox when they launched, I think. So that's okay. But when they see a $90 game, which is what the normies are going to see, because they're not going to be going on Nintendo. They're not going to be going on Nintendo Online, right? To like, that's not how those kind of people work. They're going to want to buy the game and have the kid put the cartridge in the system, like they've been
doing for
like
years.
That's what they know about. Yeah, that's what they've been known about video games their whole life, is that's what you do. The game is going to be $90, $30 higher than it used to be.
That's a lot of dang money.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be good for Nintendo either. I kind of worry about that. I mean, they deserve the repercussions they're going to get, but how bad is this going to affect the future of Nintendo? Yeah, it's very possible that because of these pricing issues, the sales could flop like they did with the Wii U until they cut the price. I think they had a similar sort of problem with the 3DS back when the 3DS came out. I think they were overly expensive, and then they ended up slashing the price. But yeah, not a great time to be a collector of video games, guys.
Or a consumer of video games, given how most AAA titles that come out now are kind of lackluster.
kind of jank. Yeah, like I haven't enjoyed an actual AAA video game and I don't know how long, not counting Nintendo games. Like I enjoyed Tears of the Kingdom, but you know, like Helldivers 2 was basically an indie game. Yeah, budget wise, there was not that. Like we've been really enjoying Helldivers 2 for the past year or so,
we love it.
And it was made on a relatively low budget. They didn't even really market it that hard until it started catching on. And now it's like one of Sony's biggest properties at the moment. But oh, it's a fox! It's a bear, a fox, a capybara. It's a capybara.
I saw him earlier. I'm Sheriff. Maybe I can get him.
Protect me, Grim Reaper. Protect me.
Oh, he must be up there.
Yeah, I was running from him. There's a Grim Reaper up there that was helping me. But
Creamy.
yeah. There's another one, Repo.
Yeah.
So
Repo.
the games that we have found that we put the most time into, not counting Minecraft, which was an indie game when it came out, are indie games. Games that were made on a shoestring budget a lot of the time by like one guy, or you know, a very small team. And like one of the games that has kind of come under controversy recently for being kind of the opposite of that is the new Assassin's Creed. And whatever you think about the protagonists or anything like that is, you know, that's up to each individual player. But the fact that the credits on that game are 2 hours long.
Dang. Oh my gosh.
2 hours of constant scroll for every consultancy firm and AI company and all this stuff that they used. And the game is at best okay. Yeah, I know like a lot of outlets gave it a high rating, but I have seen gameplay videos of that game where stuff is really jank and the voice acting is really horrible in some places. That's just objective. That's like not even an opinion. It's bloat. That's why they can't make things as good as they used to. That's why Halo's not as good as it used to be, or Call of Duty's not as good as it used to be, is because it's a Viking.
A Viking, okay.
Yep, he got me. But I got it out before he killed me.
I am Gami.
Bro sent me straight to Valhalla. But yeah, it's like, I think it's looking to me like the good stuff is going to be coming from small people for the next little while. And we might not be able to enjoy physical media for very long.
Dang. Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, I think it is. Of course, there's plenty of stuff that people like myself can collect from the past 40, I guess, going on 50 years of video games now. But it's just kind of sad that there's not really, I don't think, going to be an emphasis on that going forward. Because the last bastion to me, like before all this stuff happened, I had always thought that Nintendo will be the last ones to give up on the physical collecting market, because that's where they came from, and that's where the majority of their paying audience lied, I thought. Apparently they decided to be the experimental first ones to try it.
You know, with the direction that Microsoft is going with their brand and company, they're acting like they're going to just put all their games on any system, right? That's what I'm understanding, at least. I haven't really read up on the entire situation, but that's a little bit sad. I was saying earlier, you know, since I have my PC, given the games I play, there's really no reason for me to buy a PlayStation or Nintendo Switch or whatever console it may be, just because I can get anything I want on my PC that I want to play. But to me, it's sad that there's going to be no incentive to buy an Xbox in the future. At least that's what it's looking like. I don't know how it's going to pan out, but if they put all of their releases out on, let's say, PlayStation or Nintendo too, there would be no point in buying an Xbox anymore, which is sad because I grew up playing Xbox more than any other console. I played a lot of Nintendo, but Xbox has always been my jam since I was a very young girl. So this is really sad for me, more so than, oh, the killer is a girl or something in red. Oh, I got cooked. All right, let me teleport to Josh.
Just, this is right where you got cooked. Oh, that's it right there, ain't it? To give a little bit of background on the Xbox thing for people who don't know, their most recent marketing campaign has been, this is an Xbox, and they show like a PC or a Steam Deck, or I don't think they actually showed like a Nintendo or a PlayStation, but Nintendo and PlayStation exclusive or what used to be Xbox exclusive games are going to be on those consoles. That people like Phil Spencer and Todd Howard have already talked about that. And so for people who don't know, historically, Xbox came out of the ashes of Sega, basically. Microsoft was going to have a partnership with Sega. And they after the Sega Saturn, I think, they were kind of developing this console, and things just didn't work out. So Microsoft just came out with the Xbox, which was their own console. It's kind of the same thing sort of happened with Sony and Nintendo, and that's where PlayStation came from. But as Sega stopped being a major competitor to Nintendo producing their own consoles, Microsoft sort of emerged with the Xbox as the spiritual successor to them. And as I see it, what Microsoft is doing now are turning themselves into the new Sega, because of course Sega became more of just a studio and a publisher, like you know, all the Sonic the Hedgehog games and Persona, a bunch of JRPGs. At the Sega owns Atlas, which produces a bunch of those RPGs. And I think what Xbox wants to do is to basically become that. But because I don't know if they see producing consoles as too expensive, or that's just not where the future is, because Sony doesn't really see, I mean, Sony wants to go
There's a Jack Black skin over here.
Oh God. I'm sheriff. I might just kill it and take myself out.
Oh Lord.
Like, Sony seems to want to still produce consoles. They just don't really want to make physical games anymore. None of the companies do. Microsoft seems to want to take themselves out of the console maker circle. I don't know. It's weird. And they're going to go the way of Sega. And for folks who weren't into video game collecting, Sega and Nintendo were the Microsoft and Sony of 30 years ago. And they both are kind of shadows of their former self, at least in the amount of influence that they have. But I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. They're still around. They're just not the powerhouses that they used to be. And I feel like in the same vein that all this stuff is being done, they're kind of reducing their power.
It certainly seems like it.
They're like watering down their brand, I guess is a better way of saying it. How can you be Xbox if there's no box with an X on it, you know? It's kind of as simple as that. Yes, no,
Did you see that numpty just shoot that innocent?
I saw them aiming at each other. I didn't actually see the killing take place.
We're up here, Josh. We can cook.
We can cock.
We can cock. Yeah, Josh just started spitting straight fire in the McDonald's, y'all. We were in there eating our bees burgers, and Josh just started spitting straight fire, and it all stemmed from Jack Black in the Minecraft movie right here.
Yeah, oh my God. But yeah, I feel strongly about all this because video games are one of my favorite things, and collecting video games has always been, I mean, ever since I was a little bitty kid, it's been like my thing. So it's sad to kind of see it
phasing out.
You can read the writing on the wall, and it's been happening. People have been talking about it for over 10 years that this is what was going to happen, but now it's happening, and Nintendo are the ones who set the ball into motion. So I was betrayed by the very the very company that I trusted most. It's like the Star Wars meme. You were supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's rough, but it is what it is. And I already have all the things that I have. So I just got news for Nintendo. They're not going to be getting $90 out of me for digital games, or $80 out of me for digital games. And that will be sad. You know, even if it comes to the point where I won't even be able to afford to buy these games that I like digitally. because Nintendo doesn't put stuff out on Steam and they don't discount their games. They never have. So, I mean, I don't think I'll be the only one who's just going to like throw their hands up and say, I can't afford that. Or even if I can afford it, but it's not really worth it. Like I spend $100 on things from time to time, but a video game is just not worth $100.
Right.
In
I don't
this
think
day and
so.
age.
I honestly don't think it is either.
Like we've played Helldivers 2 for what, 300 or 400 hours probably. 300 probably to be.
Yeah, mine's over 300. It's almost 4 at this point.
And I don't think I would pay, even as much fun as I've had in that game, I don't think I would pay $100 for it right now. No, it's just like $100 is a threshold that you just, it's hard to cross, for certain things. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to be the only one who's going to just be like, well, I'm not paying that. Sorry. And then Nintendo is going to feel that and have to react to it in one way or another. If they're smart, they'll lower prices. But if they're not, they could very well end up going out of business.
I don't know.
Eventually.
I don't know.
They've made a crap ton of money in the Switch's lifetime. So they're not in, like, if they didn't sell one copy of anything, I think they could survive for a little while, but it's still like it's rough. It's not good for anybody. But I still love Nintendo. I want them to do good, but this is not good. We were in Walmart and it was like there's this little kid and he had like curly yellow hair. And little bro must have been so zooted out on sugar and
Kool-Aid,
Roblox brain rot. I don't even know what.
Prime and drippy cheese.
Yeah, Prime and drippy cheese and Skibbity toilet. And he was just doing this weird, goofy walk and moving his arms all around in a funny way and making the goofiest face you could possibly imagine.
I've never seen anything like it.
No, bro was in absolute goblin mode. He wasn't even really making a lot of noise. He was just like, bro had no self-restraint or anything. He was just wiggling and wobbling and living his best life right there in the Walmart. It was quite hilarious.
It was giving Donnie from the Wild Thornberries, but also it wasn't quite Donnie energy. It wasn't loud.
Yeah,
it was quiet.
Yeah, that's what made it kind of funny, was that he wasn't screaming and being loud, but he was just wiggling and jiggling out and making the goofiest faces, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Then you would round another corner and he'd be doing something even goofier. It was just really funny and needed to be told to the world.
Bro rounded the corner doing all that. His hands were like clenching in and out. And his tongue was sticking out.
I got killed and I don't even remember getting killed.
Yeah, it's hard to tell stories and concentrate on the game at the same time. I ain't got a clue who it is.
I just realized that I'm like flying around and I remember. Oh
God, I know who it is now.
Yeah, I just saw who it was.
Somebody got it.
Yeah, gingerbread cookie man.
Gingerbread cookie man. Pitter Pats.
Pitter Pats whooped them.
Let's go.
You can like and subscribe to Corn Joe's channel down below and tell us all your controversial thoughts about all the stuff going on and how you think we're right or wrong on things.
Yeah.
But I think we pretty much covered everything that there is to cover about the subject.
Yeah. Off topic. Y'all comment down below what video games have made you cry or tear up, if any.
Oh yeah, we
why.
were talking about that.
For me, I cried at the end of The Walking Dead. And by the way, this says something. Like, for me to cry at a video game says something because of the way our mommy brought us up.
Well, she taught us to be tough guys and not to cry about anything.
Yeah, like
and not to feel things. So.
Yeah, exactly. We weren't supposed to cry at any movies or, God forbid, a video game. I told her today, actually, because I was talking to Josh about it. And I brought up how I cried at the end of The Walking Dead, and my mom said, "You cried at a video game?" Jenna. But yeah, I cried at the end of The Walking Dead. This sounds kind of sappy, but Josh, there you are. I cried at the end of Yakuza 0. I don't know, y'all. The ending really hit. It really hit hard. And I was so into that game. Did I cry at anything else?
I don't know.
I wanted to cry a few times playing Halo, both from frustration during Infinite, and also it was the scene where he said, "I was supposed to protect you."
Yeah.
You know, and she walks up to him. That's the part where I probably teared up.
Never make a girl promise she can't keep.
Yes. See, I'm already getting sad thinking about it. I think I probably teared up, at that scene.
Yeah,
I'll count that as a cry, because if it did bring tears to my eyes, that counts.
As a big, tough, burly man, I was trying to think of anything that I cried at in a video game, and I don't really think there's anything that made me want to cry, but I was able to come up with some that did like really emotionally hollow me out. Maybe, and that would be the first original Last of Us. No DLC, nothing like that. Just the first OG PS3 version of The Last of Us, and Spec Ops: The Line for the Xbox 360. If you've never played that, don't look it up or don't watch anybody play it. Just get it on Steam or something and play it. And that is a wild emotional experience. And then Doki Doki Literature Club, which I'm telling you, like, don't believe the veneer on the outside of the game if you don't if you're not familiar with it. I mean, it's not what it looks like, I promise. But just yeah, it's crazy emotional at points. So those three, I think, probably drained me more than anything else. Of they just like made me depressed for a little while.
Yeah.
But they're all three really good games, and I would recommend them all if you've got a strong stomach for that kind of thing.
I think it's excellent if a game can bring you to tears. You know, if the story is so compelling, moving, and emotional that it can bring you, given you're someone who doesn't cry easily, especially, I think that's really telling. You know, that says something about a game. And despite having been brought up the way we were, I think it's perfectly okay to cry at a video game if it's that good that it makes you want to cry. Like our mommy was making fun of me earlier because of it, but I think it's okay.
You know, sometimes art is just so effective, or you relate in such a way to a story because of something personal that's happened to you. Like you're just gonna get a little misty-eyed at certain things, and I think that's completely normal. But I was trying to think of any games that have actually made me want to cry, and I couldn't really think of any. I just thought of ones that made me depressed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is the chicken the murderer?
I just ran past the chicken.
Might be the chicken back there. I don't know. Another game that made me want to cry. I didn't cry, but I wanted to, was when Dom's wife died in Gears of War. That really, or when he found out, he thought she was going to be...
Oh, no. Yeah, he had to kill her. He had to put her down.
Yeah, he had to put her down, but what I meant to say was he thought she was going to be okay, but, she had already got gotted, basically. And that scene was just really, really emotional. I remember I had to suck it in and don't be an emotional mess while we were playing through that part, but I wanted to cry. I ain't even going to lie. Because it was just a really well written scene, you know what I mean? They really told a story there.
We're all gathered around over here paying our respects to the tiny man in the cage.
The chicken started it. He was standing over there.
Well, he's probably trying to bait people into a circle where he can... Oh, that's exactly what he was doing. It's the chicken.
Yeah, I thought so. The chicken killed Josh. No. Oh, no, Josh. I missed.
He said that it was the chicken. I knew that's what he was doing.
Josh, I'm so sorry.
It'd be that way. I fell for his trap. But, yeah, Gears of War 2 was a really emotionally charged game. You know, they had basically like the one moment in Gears of War 3 that was really emotionally charged, where Dom sacrifices himself so the rest of them can get away, you know? Like the spoilers for an old game, but Gears of War 2, there was a lot of heavy stuff that happened in that game.
Yeah, really. Faux show.
You know, you had the one guy that alivented himself after they let him out of the POW camp, you know? And then you had the one Carmine brother that died in the worm's stomach, and
Wormy.
Then Dom's wife. That was like a really grim game.
Yeah, it was. It was a good game, though. The entire series was good up until 4, and then they really... We've talked about this before on the channel. Go check out. I'll link it up in the top right corner if y'all want to hear us rant about Gears of War 4 and 5 and Halo Infinite and whatnot. But I love when a game can make you really feel something. When it's a good thing, Halo Infinite really did make me feel a lot of things, not in a good way. But yeah, if a game can make you feel that sad because the story's so well told and hits hard, that's a really good thing. But if you're sitting there playing Halo Infinite and want to cry for the complete opposite reason, that's not Garsh.
No.
You know, fake Cortana, we call her Courtney. The weapon, my girl Courtney. And then I forgot the guy's name.
They did that weird, stupid name reveal thing at the end of it that made no sense and had no impact.
Yeah. You can tell by the way it played out, they thought it was going to have impact.
Thought they had really come up with something meaningful, and it made no sense. It was so dumb. Oh, it's Ed Sheeran, Vanilla Skin.
Okay. What was I going to say? It's so easy to lose your train of thought. Well, oh, there he is. I ran right past him. Run, people, run. It's really hard to cook, to commentate while you are trying to concentrate in a game like this. It's hard to do both. I feel like I'm either really stuttering and tripping up and I can't get any sentence out that is concise, or you are speaking fairly coherently, but then you just keep getting wrecked in the game, match after match. I feel like it's been like this during our play session tonight. I hadn't been doing very good.
It's hard to do both, and really, we just recorded one of these, so the whole reason that we recorded this was because we were cooking so hard at McDonald's.
Yeah, we were. We were sitting there in the Mickey D's cooking, eating our nether sauce.
Yeah, eating our not very good nether sauce, and the McDonald's was fire, by the way. Maybe that's what inspired us. It was really good McDonald's. Yeah, we were just saying a bunch of stuff that felt like it needed to be said to people rather than just between us at a McDonald's.
Right. Comment down below y'all's favorite McDonald's order. It was just last year when I tried a Big Mac for the first time.
That is absolutely cooked and crazy, especially for somebody like you who loves McDonald's.
I do love McDonald's. Oh, I think it's an Enderman with a crown. I think he had a shuriken in his hand, but yeah.
Oh, I spawned in next to him.
I think it's him. Don't take my word for it, but I think. But yeah, y'all, I had went so long having never tried. Oh, there's bro. I keep running right through bro. Run, people, run. Yeah, I love quarter pounders. They're my thing, but McDonald's sweet and sour sauce is pretty fire.
It's not as good as Wendy's sweet and sour sauce.
I might disagree. I think I like it better.
Oh, that's not even negotiable. That's just an objectively wrong opinion.
That's my opinion.
How do you know what's good for me? That's my opinion!
That's an old meme. Yeah, McDonald's, a while back, they had a K-pop meal, which came with a spicy sauce, and it was good. I love that sauce.
Yeah, that was a good sauce.
I wish they still had it, in fact, but...
if you tried that sauce, then the nether sauce is just that, but not as good of a flavor.
Right.
Less sweet and just more like hot and vinegary and not very good. A funny observation was that there were more teenage to grown girls and women getting the Minecraft meal than little girls or boys.
Yeah.
It was like a bunch of like probably 16 to 30 women getting it and bouncing around all happy and excited as they open their toys in the McDonald's. I thought that was funny.
I wanted one, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. Just for kicks and giggles, I really wanted a toy really just for the nostalgia. But
oh my God.
What, Josh? What?
How some horrible monster killed me.
I couldn't make myself pay, or Josh either for that matter. We didn't want to pay. What was it? $12.99 for?
Yeah, it was $12 for a 10-piece nugget with a toy, basically.
Yeah. So it's just a normal Happy Meal, basically. I didn't want to pay that much. And the toys look really crappy, by the way. I just wanted one for really the meme.
What Corn Joe needs, and I'm gonna get her one when I see it at a thrift store or something, is a Jack Black Steve Minecraft toy. That's what she needs. It's the goofiest looking thing I've ever seen because it's just like Jack Black, and it is Minecraft clothes with goofy looking diamond armor.
Yeah.
It's the silliest thing I've ever seen.
It is pretty corny, Josh, what is your guess? Am I going to get wiped out?
I don't know. I hadn't been watching the ops, so I don't know if they're competent or not. She's certainly not, apparently.
I'm sorry, girl. I wasn't either because my throw missed her.
The ops is chilling.
They're chilling.
The ops don't even care one dang about you.
I'm just chilling in Cedar Rapids.
I can't believe that video's real sometimes.
Oh, I see her. Alex, get back here. Chi-Chi.
Oh, she didn't even have her arrow knocked up. You wrecked, Alex. You had 48 coins.
I want y'all to comment down below a bunch of different things. Everything we mentioned, Nintendo, Microsoft.
Comment down below if you're going to be buying the Switch and the $90 games day one or not. Like, that's something I'd be curious to see what anybody says.
Josh, while you were talking, I was about to say there's a crazy looking eyeball over here, and then he started killing people. Oh gosh, he's right there. How did bro get over here that fast? Ugly, what did that person spell? What does that mean?
I don't know. That's some kind of Gen Alpha brain rot curse that I don't understand.
Comment down below if y'all know what that meant up there in the chat, because I don't. Josh, that eyeball's murking people left and right. We got to get locked and loaded.
It's the Eye of Cthulhu from the Terrariers.
It is. I haven't played Terraria in so long. I had a little series going. Terraria was one of those games
I have never made an effort to like play a legit round of Terraria.
Yeah, I know. You need to.
I've goobered around in it a little bit, but I hadn't like actually, really tried to do a playthrough on it.
It's an experience. GG, somebody got him. You got him?
Yeah, he was doing some juking too. I don't think he thought that I could get him.
GG.
Squidward
8. Squidward. Skidmark. Skidmark and Pack Rock.
And Sping Bing.
And Sping Bing.
Spinge Bill.